The first limb is to do with the question of driving licenses. People who are resident in Spain and who have a Gibraltar driving license will have that license recognized until the end of the year. Remember, there was originally a requirement that if you lived in Spain and you had a Gibraltar license, indeed, or UK license for that matter, you needed to exchange it by the end of 2020. Some people didn't do that and still have their Gibraltar license. So the exchange mechanism is far more complex, and you may have to take the test again, essentially, if you haven't done that already. So it means now your Gibraltar license will be recognized until the end of the year, and it means that we expect by the end of the year, we anticipate there will be an agreement between the UK and Spain on the wider exchange of the many different UK licenses that exist. The second area relates to healthcare. This is to do with basically the getting medical treatment, accessing medical care in Spain on the same basis as we accessed medical care when we were in the European Union. So it means Gibraltar residents will now be able to do that, will be able to continue to do that as they have been until now. And Gibraltar has extended reciprocal measures to Spain and to Spanish residents here in Gibraltar. But it's very important, I should make the point that this only applies to Spain. So people shouldn't think if they travel to Portugal or to France or to Italy that they will have access to healthcare on the same basis as we had it when we were in the EU. This is only a bridging measure for Spain, which applies only between Spain and Gibraltar. So those essentially are the two main thrusts, the two main prongs of the agreement.
How has this extension come about? Do you see it as a sign of goodwill from Spain, a positive sign for the negotiations?
Well, certainly these are unilateral measures, and Spain has extended them voluntarily. The rest of the European Union hasn't, as I just pointed out. So they made it very clear that while we were negotiating and while we were sitting down to establish the terms of the future relationship of Gibraltar with the European Union, that Spain was prepared to apply unilaterally these bridging measures for the residents of Gibraltar. And in that sense, they have kept the word. First of all, as I said, until the end of June, then the end of October, and now until the end of December. And those negotiations obviously have already started. They started this month, and we expect them to continue in the months to come.
We're coming up on 2 months left till the end of the year. As you say, this isn't the first extension of bridging measures. So how many more extensions can we realistically expect? How long till time runs out on negotiating the treaty agreed in principle last New Year's Eve?
Well, let me say, when we agreed the political framework for a treaty at the end of December, the UK and Gibraltar side effectively set their positions very quickly. I mean, within a few months, you already had very clear what our negotiating position was going to be across the board on a whole range of different dossiers. The delay has come on the part of the European Union itself, and I think the extensions are recognitions that really this is not anything that we've done or any delay that we've caused. That is simply a delay on the other side that has a much larger framework of institutions and member states to be able to arrive at different positions. As you know, thankfully, they issued a negotiating mandate, a mandate which we did not agree with and where we had serious concerns with a number of its contents. But we're now sitting down to negotiate on the basis of the New Year's Eve agreement, which is what we remain firmly committed to. And in the event that there is no agreement, then there is a parallel work stream going on for no negotiated outcome.
Recently, Spain began to stamp the passports of blue residency card holders. Many of these people cross in and out of Gibraltar on a daily basis and say their passports are filling up. So is the government considering any measures to alleviate the situation or take the matter up with the UK and Spain?
Well, we've already taken up the matter both with the United Kingdom and with Spain. We need to wait and see how that develops. Remember, the default position is that once we left the European Union, once the transition period came to an end, then all UK citizens, all British passport holders would be stamped on their entry into the Schengen area and also on their exit. And the reason for that is not to make life difficult for people, but simply because they need to know whether you spend 90 days of each 180 that you're entitled to visa-free in the Schengen area. So the stamping for everyone would have been the norm. There was again a unilateral, if you like, a unilateral bridging measure that Spain would not stamp Gibraltar residents. Originally, it was also holders of blue civilian registration cards as well as red Gibraltar identity cards. But sadly, I think the wider position and changes to UK's own immigration laws and the entry of people from the European Union into the United Kingdom, changes to that in the UK this month have led to this measure being taken at the border. So the government is doing what it can, but it is something which is largely in the hands of others, primarily in the hands of the European Union.